first motorsports competition at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway took place in 1909 in form of motorcycle races, and then automobile races soon followed. When the track's original surface of crushed stone and tar proved problematic, the owners paved the track with more than 3 million bricks, giving rise to its nickname, the Brickyard. It wasn't until Memorial Day of 1911, however, that the first 500-mile race was held at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and won by Ray Haroon and his Marmon Wasp. What quickly became known as the Indianapolis 500 became one of the nation's leading sports events in the 1920s and 30s. To win the Indy 500 was to achieve instant notoriety, and the names of early winners like Tommy Milton, Lewis Meyer, Wilbur Shaw are indelibly etched in the annals of American motorsport. A nationwide ban on motorsports during World War II, however, nearly spelled the end for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which lay in virtual ruin when a consortium headed by Indiana businessman Tony Holman purchased the facility in 1945. Holman and his partners invested heavily in the facility and expanded the spectator capacity to the point that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway became the world's largest sports venue with the world's largest single-day sporting event, with crowds regularly topping 350,000. The March of Progress also included the gradual process of digging up the bricks in favor of a modern racing surface. By 1961, the paving had been completed, leaving just the famous Yard of Brick. The start-finish line is a tribute to the tradition of the Brickyard. Tonight, it's the Flex Motorsports Everything Series, 40 laps in the Indy cars. It's coming up next on HBR TV. Once again, everyone, welcome to virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Always a treat to broadcast here. It's been quite some time. Love this place. Been here in real life. Special place in my heart, certainly, but tonight it's going to be a fun one again. The Flex Motorsports Everything Series from Indy. The series is just what it sounds like. It's a series of everything, different venues, different race cars, completely different racing disciplines, so no one driver has a distinct advantage. Really fun to watch here tonight. At least 40 laps around this place to see who's going to take home the checkered flag, or the twin checkers, I should say, as they cross the Yard of Brick tonight here at Indy. Weather's nice, a little bit warm, 88 degrees, 76% humidity, a little bit of cloud cover. Track temp is hot, 130 degrees Fahrenheit, so we'll have to see how these cars handle in that heat. Nice thing is iRacing did just update everything with this race car. Not just that, but a few other things as well. They've had some patches to fix, but speaking of the Dallara IR18, it should handle a little bit better in traffic now with this most recent update. So they certainly seem to have helped that. Definitely a plus. All these guys that are out here running these Indy cars on the regular, certainly excited for that. Should help these guys here tonight, as I'm sure there's a handful of guys out here that don't typically race this car. They're more of a NASCAR style or even dirt racing. But it'd be really fun to watch tonight. See if these guys can get a handle on these Indy cars, as practice is just about coming to a close here. About 25 seconds left. Your current top five in the session: Bobby Hall Jr., Justin Shiner, Chris Goins, Kevin Blue, and Jesse Redding. Mixture of LSR and Flex Motorsports guys in this one tonight. Well, that settles it. Practice is over. We're going to jump right into the quali session. Who will take to the track first? Looks like Justin Shiner at least rolling into the pit lane. He's going to be the first to roll out. Two and a half miles. This rectangular oval, relatively flat in the corners. Going to have to use all the downforce these cars are capable of, but still keeping them streamlined enough down the straights carry enough speed, they're going to crack 220 miles an hour plus for sure. Ooh, shiner in the wall off turn 2. Damage to that machine. That's going to throw this one away for him. We'll go to Chris Goins. He's going to roll out and see what the 6 can lay down. Oh, Chris Goins, he catches a piece of the wall as well. This looks like that's between turns 3 and 4. Kevin Blue on the racetrack, his first lap. First one to really get a lap in, a 40.806. Lap 2 for Kevin Blue, a 40.541, currently on the pole position. Gonna go with Bobby Hall Jr. here. He rolls out. He was very quick in practice. Taking a look at those practice results here. Bobby Hall Jr. was the fastest, a 40.976. Interesting here, the weather may have changed a bit, but Kevin Blue, he's about 4 or 5 tenths faster than that fastest practice time. Kevin Blue ran a 41 and change in the practice session. Right now sits P1 until Dan Worthington knocks him off, a 40.52 for the 113 of Worthington. Right on board with the 94. Pretty smooth off turn 2. First lap for Bobby Hall Jr. Crosses the line, doesn't register a time. Oh, a little delayed. 41.18 for Bobby Hall Jr., 8th fast. To see if he can improve here. He was definitely the fastest car in the practice session. Bobby Hall Jr. down the front stretch here. A threat for the pole. Was 9th fast, crosses the line, goes P4, 40.801. Alan Duranco on his first lap, and he's in the wall, a 40.836. Quick lap puts him top 5, but a damaged race car nonetheless. Qualifying is over just like that. We'll go to our starting grid here from Indianapolis. On the pole position, it is the 113 of Dan Worthington. A lap time of 40.52 seconds. Outside front row, the 54 of Kevin Blue. Just 0.2 of a second slower. Just missed the mark there, but still an outside front row starting position for the Lone Star Racing driver. Wes Wiegand's going to roll off from the 3rd spot in the number 88. Bobby Hall Jr. is going to start fourth. Starting fifth, Alan Duranko. This is practice. Why do I always do this? Nope. Did it again. It's not practice. This is the starting grid. Alan Duranko, Flex Motorsports number 4. He's going to start fifth. James Ferguson will start in the 6th position. Jesse Redding, the 721. He'll roll off from the 7th starting position. Justin Shiner, he'll start 8th. Starting 9th from Lone Star Racing, it is the 6 of Chris Goins. 10th goes to the 99 of Tristan Seitz. 10th goes to 37, Brandon Marlowe. 12th starting position, Justin Holt in the number 31, with Michael Fahey starting 13th, the number 19. Thomas Hall, the number 51 machine, he'll start from the 14th position. Short field here tonight. Don't have 11 rows of 3, but we do have 14 cars and 14 drivers that are ready to take to the Brickyard. Put on a 40-lap show for you guys. It's certainly going to be a good one. Pace car rolling off the front stretch here. One pace lap before we see the green flag. Getting into a little more detail as far as the specs for tonight's race. All these Indy cars are starting off with full fuel loads, and they have an unlimited number of tire changes to work with if so needed. And not all these drivers, many of them really, not familiar with racing this Indy car. Trying to give all the advantages possible to these guys so they can at least put on a decent show and get a good race in. Pace car peels off the racetrack. Wait for the starter to throw the green flag.
Green flag.
He's a waving. We're off and running from Indianapolis. Kevin Blue completes lap 1, now into turns 1 and 2. Healthy lead. Dan Worthington has slipped back to the 4th position. Bobby Hall Jr., James Ferguson, P2, P3. Kevin Blue already trying to snake his way down the straightaway, break up that draft as though not give the guys behind him enough of a vacuum there to close the gap. Blue has a current 4.5 tenths of a second lead into turn 4. Couple drivers, Mike Fahey, Brandon Marlowe, already in the pit lane. Not sure if they had contact on the track. It appears that Marlowe and Holt both went off track at one point. It might have been the second lap of the race. We'll take a moment here, take a quick look, see what happened with Marlowe. Oh, we're a little late into it. Let's back this up a little further, get a better view of that incident. Few cars involved. And there you see it. I'm not sure who it was. It might have been Justin Holt, possibly, that got up into the wall there. Little arrow push sent him into the fence, and that was the wreck that you saw. We did not get a caution as those guys were near the rear of the field. Meanwhile, Kevin Blue's still out front. Bobby Hall Jr.'s made his way up into the second spot from the fourth starting position. Ferguson, Worthington, Wiegand, the top five. Kevin Blue looking good out front, still 0.6 of a second. Now putting a bit of a gap on Bobby Hall Jr. It was about 4.5 tenths a few laps ago. We're 7 laps into this 50-lap event. So far, Kevin Blue has led it since the drop of the green flag. Right on board with Bobby Hall Jr. there, trying to track down Kevin Blue. That interval is just getting bigger and bigger. Kevin's finally driven away from that draft that the 54 is putting in behind. Bobby Hall Jr. can't suck up. He's not close enough to take advantage of that slipstream down the straightaway. Kevin Blue's still not taking any chances, though. He's still working the snake down the stretch, so he doesn't have to give so much slipstream to the car in behind. James Ferguson is a little bit further back. He might still be able to take advantage of the draft from the 94. Top 5 cars are starting to spread out quite a bit, as we are just about 9 laps into this event. Kevin Blue still changing lanes just about every lap, off turn 4 and off turn 2, trying to break up that slipstream. Current top 5, Kevin Blue, Bobby Hall Jr., James Ferguson now pressuring Bobby Hall Jr. Bobby Hall Jr. might have a problem. Not sure if he just let the 21 go or if Bobby had to check up a lot. Don't see anything in my data here to indicate a crash. No damage appearing on that 94. Bobby has checked out a little bit here, slips back to the 3rd spot. See if we can go back and get a look at the pass to see what initiated all that. Bobby Hall Jr. is in the pits. Let's wait a minute here, see what's going on with that. Might be a scheduled stop. Bobby Hall Jr. slowly rolling down the front stretch pit lane. Don't see any damage on the car, so this just could be a scheduled stop. Jumped into that pit window. Oh, a little bit of damage, so maybe some right side contact there. Quick stop, down and away goes the 94. So let's go back. I want to see if we can catch the replay. Ferguson going by, and we actually see some of these guys starting to pit now. Bobby Hall Jr. has kicked this off. Other drivers might be doing the same shortly. And Dan Worthington has crashed. Possibly getting onto the pit lane. That's a shame. The 113 was a quick car. Still no caution, no traffic coming. Big incident for the 113 of Dan Worthington. Keep trying to see what's going on here to get this pass replay, but let's see what happened here with Worthington as he's trying to get to the pit lane. Now back to his box, but caution does not come out. Going to be significant time loss for Worthington. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. Oh, he's already in the fence, so he's just trying to get back. Does he get clipped coming in? No, just tries to slow it up. There's too much damage on that. Not sure what initiated the damage that he has on that machine, but nonetheless, good day going bad quickly for Dan Worthington. Kevin Blue still out in front. Likely the pass Ferguson made on Bobby Hall Jr. was more to do with Bobby Hall Jr. hitting the pit lane, or at least planning to hit the pit lane. A likely scheduled stop. Worthington remains down pit road here, getting repairs made. Kevin Blue closing in on the 31 of Justin Holt to put Holt a lap down. Looks to the inside. Holt's going to slide up the track, give him the spot. Holt's going to get a slipstream, though, off the 54. Bobby Hall Jr. back in the mix as well. I believe that's Bobby Hall Jr. Bobby is actually a lap down. He's going to try and take this spot back the hard way. Get him back on the lead lap. Goes the 94. Bobby Hall Jr. listed as the 9th position. Now the last car on the lead lap. Mike Fahey 1 lap down in 10th. Tristan Sykes up 6 positions, started 10th. He runs 4th. Wes Wiegand 3rd. Tristan starting to close the gap between those two. Wants that 3rd spot. He's certainly close enough to catch some slipstream. Right on board with the 88 of Wes Wiegand, looking back at the 99 of Tristan Sykes. 0.3 of a second between these two, and at 225 miles an hour, that is almost nothing. Tristan Sykes still closing ground on Wes Wiegand. West did have a pretty good turn one exit there. Did pull away by just a bit. Actually gained a 10th over the 99 of Sykes. That also could have been some aero push on the nose of the 99. Little understeer. Again, iRacing did update that recently. Updated that. Made it a little bit better for these drivers. It was significant prior to the update. Chris Goins runs in the 8th position, just behind the 94 of Bobby Hall, at least on the standings side of things. Quite a ways behind the 94 in reality, about 6.5 seconds. Chris Goins there with a little bit of lap traffic just ahead, the 31 of Justin Holt. Another lap car about to be, no, not necessarily. Actually, Ellen Duranco, the 6th place machine, the number 4, that lime green entry. Justin Hall is the lap down machine, but not Duranco. Oh, little slip and slide out of the 4. Gathers it back up. Duranco still in the 6th position. Almost disaster for the number 4. Gathers it back up, back in the throttle. Got to get that heart rate back down before you continue. Looking off fast laps. We're just about 5 laps shy of the halfway point. Kevin Blue has led them all out in front in the number 54 Ryko Motorsports. Kevin Blue in his own zip code right now, 3.8 seconds out in front of the 35 of Justin Shiner. And Justin runs second in those lime green Patron colors. Chris Goins just behind, but Goins now the first car 1 lap down, running in the 8th position. Interestingly enough, we've run 22 laps since the green flag first came out. We've had a couple of incidents on track, but none worthy of a caution flag. Laps are certainly going by in a hurry. They're getting them done here in about 42 seconds. So far, fastest lap of the day does belong to Kevin Blue, 41:43. Other times are pretty darn close. You got a couple guys that have run a 41:46. That would be Michael Fahey and James Ferguson both. You can hear the engine RPM drop out of those corners. Turns 3 and 4. I know the track looks identical. It was built over 100 years ago, so they didn't have digital mapping or anything of the sort, so it's not quite perfect. Each corner is relatively unique to the other. You do hear that speed, that engine RPM come down just a bit. The end of those corners, turns 3 and 4 specifically. Kevin Blue doing a good job maintaining that gap back to the second place machine of Justin Shiner. It's halfway, 25 laps to go. It's still a 3.8 second advantage for Kevin Blue. That said, Kevin Blue has not pit yet. Really, the top 5, Shiner, Wiegand, Sykes, Duranko, Bobby Hall Jr., all the way to... Okay, Bobby Hall Jr., he did pit. He pit lap 10. Some guys are going to try and gamble this to the end of the race. Pitting from that lap 10, lap 16, lap 14, a couple of mid-packers or mid-lappers going there. Let's see Jesse Redding pit at lap 24, and Wes Wiegand hits the pit road. Wes Wiegand pits from the 5th position. Wes Wiegand down and away. Kevin Blue, though, pits from the lead. He's going to give it up here. Justin Shiner's going to take over the top spot. Kevin Blue slowly rolls down the pit straightaway. Kevin Blue into the box. Possibly fuel only for Kevin Blue. Didn't see that car go up on the jacks. Kevin Blue down and away. He's going to rejoin the race here in the 4th position. New leader Justin Shiner out in front. Now the top 3 machines have yet to see pit lane with 21 laps to go. Be curious how far they're going to stretch it. Maybe all the way to that bitter end of the fuel tank. And Justin Shiner is going to hit the pit lane here. He's in his one and only stop of the day. Tristan Sykes looks like he's going to peel off turn number 4 as well. Shiner slides it into the box. Car goes up on the jacks. Tristan Sykes in as well, also going up in the air. And we didn't see Kevin Blue. Not sure if it went up in the air. We were at a different camera angle, so we're not 100% that he went fuel only. I don't know why you would. Nonetheless, Dylan Duranko is going to cycle out as the leader. He is front of this field. He's the only car that has not seen pit road here today. Circles off turn number 4. He's going to cross the line as the leader. Still yet to see pit road. And there you have it, Alan Duranko. He's going to hit the pit lane now. Final car to hit the pit road, get his pit work taken care of. Fuel and tires to make it to the end of the race. That's going to cycle Kevin Blue back to the front of the field. Bobby Hall Jr. now in the second position. Bobby is right there, 0.2 of a second off the rear wing of the 54 Ryco Motorsports machine. Work down back straight away here. Bobby Hall Jr. with a draft. Looking left, looking right. 18 laps to go here from Indianapolis. Kevin Blue maintaining the top spot still, defending against Bobby Hall Jr. Bobby is still right there in his wake. Right on board with Bobby Hall Jr., still trying to get by the 54 of Kevin Blue. It's been his show all afternoon long. Took the top spot right at the start. Dan Worthington was on pole, but here he comes. Bobby Hall Jr. closed the gap, used that draft, but has to back out of it again. He doesn't have the air on the nose of that machine. You really have to set up your passes at Indianapolis here, because if you get too much air taken off the nose, off that front wing, and we've got a caution. Mike Fahey is in trouble. Damage to the number 19 machine with 15 laps to go. Mike Fahey tried to get out of the ways to prevent that caution from coming out. Tough break. Let's see if we can get a look at it, see what happened to the 19 of Mike Fahey. Going into turn 1, I believe. Just catches the outside wall, a little push off of the exit, and slams it hard to the inside wall between the short chute. Slides up the track, no contact made there, just catches the outside safer barrier again. Tough break for Mike Fahey. Still damaged. He's going to try and nurse it back to the pit road. Now, unfortunately, I want to let everybody know, in the midst of this broadcast, I have lost complete audio on my side. Now, you're obviously hearing my voice, and you're hearing all the race audio, so that's good that the stream is picking all of that up. For some reason, I continuously just switched to a new PC here, and seems after about an hour or so of running it, I lose all audio, Discord, iRacing, and the like. So there will be no post-race interview. I sincerely apologize for that. But just not going to be able to make it work because I can't talk to anybody, can't hear anybody. So we'll continue to call the race, though. Bring you these live pictures here from virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway as Mike Fahey's situation is just going from bad to worse. Trying to get that thing down into the pits. Drivers are hitting the pit road, though we didn't expect to see. Bobby Hall Jr. is going to stop here and take some fresh tires. Kevin Blue stays on the racetrack. Looks like the top 4, Blue, Shiner, Sykes, Duranko, they stay out. Got 14 laps to go. I'd be curious to see how these guys manage this going forward. Remember, Bobby Hall Jr. pit previously. I think it was lap 12 or 14, somewhere in that mix. With 14 laps to go, he pits for some fresh tires. Going to try and use that to his advantage. Kevin Blues are just going to get older and older and slicker as this one continues on. though at the front of the field, it is still Kevin Blue. Definitely seems like Kevin planned a little bit of strategy here this afternoon, but nonetheless, most of his strategy is hammer down and go. Appears to be working well so far, as he is still at the front of the field. There's only a handful of laps that he did not lead thus far. 50 laps here at Indianapolis. 14 to go, coming to 13 to go. Kevin Blue, Justin Shiner, Tristan Sykes, Alan Duranco, Bobby Hall Jr. That's the top 5. Bobby Hall Jr., though, fastest in the practice session. He did take the opportunity on this caution to pit. That was at lap 36, under the caution. Alan Duranco pit under the green, I believe, at lap 32. Sykes, Shiner at lap 30. Kevin Blue at lap 27. Just past the halfway for Kevin Blue. Gonna have a ways to go. I don't know if the new tire difference is gonna affect Kevin right away, but it may come into play as this race nears its conclusion. We're going to likely get the green flag here this time by. That is correct. Yep, pace lights, pit road lights are green, which means we are on the 1 to go. Kevin Blue will get that green flag with 12 laps to go in the race. Have to fend off the likes of Justin Shiner, Tristan Sykes, Alan Duranco, Bobby Hall Jr. Maybe Chris Goins even works his way into this. Wes Wiegand is 7th. James Ferguson, Jesse Redding back to 9th. All these lead lap cars certainly capable of winning this race. Certainly pan out that way. We're going to find out here soon enough. Pace car dives off the front stretch into the pit lane, waiting on the green flag.
Green flag.
Kevin Blue back in the throttle, gets out front quick. Tristan Sykes, though, he's in the throttle as well. Having a 4.5 advantage through turns 1, through the short chute into 2 already. Tristan Sykes certainly gaining some ground, though. Picked up some of that slipstream.
Caution. Anything to say about your car?
And a caution is out once again. Brandon Marlowe in trouble on the track. This is off turn number 4. Heavy damage to that machine. So unfortunately now, Bobby Hall Jr., this tire strategy he's trying to work here, it may not pan out quite as well, because with these extra caution laps, the tires don't age quite as badly on the Kevin Blue machine. Nevertheless, Bobby Hall Jr. is going to have to find a way towards the front of this field. We'll go look here real fast, the instant replay here, Brandon Marlowe's incident, off turn number 4. Looks like Justin Holt got up in the wall behind him as well. In fact, let's back that up. Let's look at the Holt incident here, which is minor at best, but just pushes off the corner. Marlowe just ahead of him. He's got a car in front of him, so that's going to take the air off the nose with colder tires. Oh, gets to the bottom, puts the left sides on that curbing, has to correct, overcorrects, hard impact to the outside. This is why we are glad it's just a simulation, folks, because that one would have hurt. Drivers opting to hit the pit lane. Looks like Holt's going to do it as well. Doesn't really have a choice there, even though the pits are closed. While we're still under this caution, we are going to step aside briefly for a short break. We'll be back before we go back to the green flag to settle it. It'll be 8 laps to go when we get the green flag. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway, wrapping up our second caution of the afternoon. We were clean and green really from the outset of the race up until recently. We've had a couple right in a row. Kevin Blue going to have to fight off the likes of Tristan Sykes, Chris Goins, Alan Duranco, and Wes Wiegand to the top 5. Getting ready to go back to the green flag here with going to be 8 laps to go. Kevin Blue, slightly older tires than many of the drivers in behind. Tristan Sykes, Alan Duranco hit at lap 30 and 32 respectively to Kevin Blue's lap 27. Chris Goins, though, up to P3-4. He pit at lap 36 under the first caution. As we go back to the green flag, we're underway from Indy. Oh, we've got trouble off turn number 2. Big impact. Caution doesn't come out. I don't know how. Chris Goins involved in that. 2 cars tore up off of turn number 2. Chris Goins goes back to the pit lane with the tow. We stay under the green flag. We'll go back and watch that one later, but we're going to have a battle for the lead here momentarily. Tristan Sykes and Kevin Blue. Tristan started in the 10th position here this afternoon. Runs P2 right behind Kevin Blue off turn number 2. A poet, and I don't even know it. Tristan Sykes looks to the inside for the lead down the back straightaway. He is there to the inside. He might have the spot. Tristan drives it up, no contact made, but Tristan Sykes takes over the top spot for the first time this afternoon, coming to 6 laps to go. Kevin Blue handling, possibly going away on that 54 machine. Kevin's going to have to figure out how this thing's going to handle here in the draft. In traffic, completely different when you can't get all the air on the nose cone of that Indy car. Turns nice when you can get it in the wind, but you get it in traffic, it's not that reliable. Kevin's up in the high groove here off turn number 2 once again. Lost the lead there recently to Tristan Sykes. Alan Duranco sits in the 3rd position, battling for that spot as well. Kevin Blue's trying to at least keep position 2, wants at least a runner-up, hoping maybe for an issue with the 99 he could still cash in a win, but we're going to have to wait and see for that one. Alan Duranco is still battling in behind, trying to take the 2nd position away. Going to the inside, down the front straightaway. Kevin Blue battles back on the high side. Almost contact. Duranco slips up at the exit of turn 1. Back to the bottom he goes. Tries to get by Kevin Blue another time. He slides up in front. Pulls the slide job with an Indy car, and he makes it stick. Kevin Blue might have had to have checked up there just a bit to avoid completely wrecking their days. But now Kevin Blue's going to have some draft. But does he have the tire underneath that Indy car to make that move back? It doesn't appear to be. Alan Duranco driving away from the 54. Meanwhile, Tristan Sykes out in front almost a full 2 seconds to the 2nd place machine of Alan Duranco with 4 laps to go from Indy. Tristan Sykes just driving away. I don't know if he was just saving the car all race long or what have you, but he's got a full 2 seconds back to Alan Duranco in the 2nd spot. Bobby Hall Jr. is up there as well, and Kevin Blue has crashed. Kevin Blue has gone to the pit lane. I don't know what happened, but the caution has come out. Now, this is with 4 laps to go. I'll have to check here the race settings. I don't know if they've got a green-white checker turned on. They do. We can go green-white checker here from Indy. It's the beauty of iRacing to make our own rules. Tristan Sykes, now he's going to have to fight off a restart here. Going to have to decide, is he going to stay out? The guys behind him might not stay out. They might take an opportunity to take tires. Alan Duranco, Bobby Hall Jr., I can almost guarantee are going to take tires, since they're really right now the only 3 cars on the lead lap after a slew of accidents have taken out many of these guys here late in the running. Go back to the Chris Goins, James Ferguson incident first. We'll take a look at that. Lap 43. Contact between these two. Chris Goins gets up into the wall. Wiegand gets by on the bottom. Oh, and big impact there. Jesse Redding involved in a crash recently as well. Right front damaged on that machine. Didn't catch what happened there, but does slide up. And then let's watch what happened here with Kevin Blue. He's by himself. This looks like exit of turn 2. Drifts it and just can't catch it. Not enough hard impact. Again, be very glad that this is a sim, because that might have resulted in a helicopter ride for the 54 if it wasn't. So back to the live shots. Tristan Sykes out in front. Kevin Blue messaging to me directly here, says, "I'm dead. Stop the race. Driver fatality." Yeah, you're not kidding. That was a big one. Look at it again here while we can. Soft wall or not, that one hurt. All right, well, you know I got to go on board here. Let's slide inside the cockpit. Kevin Blue here as he leaves this earth. Full speed here. All right, so back to the live pictures again. Again, we're going to go to the overtime finish here, a green-white checkered situation. We can do it up to 3 times if needed. Hopefully not, though. We do have 4 cars currently on the lead lap. Those 4 you see in the picture right up front. Tristan Sykes down to the inside. The outside is the 4 of Alan Duranco, then Bobby Hall Jr. and Wes Wiegand, the 94 and the 88 respectively. Again, everybody, if you're tuning in here late, I've lost all audio on my end. I'm glad you guys still have it in the stream, but there will be no post-race interview because I'm going to talk to people. I kind of got to hear people. So unfortunately, we're still working out a couple of bugs with a brand new PC. We'll get them straightened out, but this has been a daily occurrence since we picked this thing up on Friday and decides to rear its ugly head midstream. But again, I'm glad that we're able to continue to bring you the pictures. Beautiful quality. Still getting good audio on your end. Tristan Sykes again took this lead over recently after that last restart. Did it the hard way. Caught the slipstream of the 54, made the pass down the back straightaway into turn number 3. And then unfortunately for Kevin Blue, might have been tires. Started to slide back and then had his issue, little oversteer off at the corner and hard impact off it too. We're going to go back at it here. Pace car is down. First attempt at a green-white checker is now. Wait for the green flag here, and we'll try and settle it from Indianapolis. Tristan Sykes in the gas. Tristan stays out in front, but Bobby Hall Jr. now battling with Alan Duranco for the second spot. If Bobby can get on by, he might be able to put a challenge to Tristan Sykes, but as this battle continues, Tristan's going to keep driving away with clean air on the nose. Alan Duranco now in the second spot with a slipstream from the 99. That's going to help him defend against Bobby Hall Jr. Final lap, white flag waves. Tristan Sykes through turns 1 and 2. Seeing the back straightaway and another 225-mile-an-hour drive. Down into turn number 3 for the final time. Tristan Sykes started from the 10th position here this afternoon. Waited till very late in the race to put on the power, make his move, and get by the 54 of Kevin Blue, who was so dominant here this afternoon. Tristan Sykes down the main straightaway, snaking it across to avoid the slipstream. Checkered flag waves. The win goes to Tristan Sykes. Alan Duranco is going to finish second by 0.2 of a second. Bobby Hall Jr., Wes Wiegand, Brandon Marlowe will be credited with the top 5. Oh, and they pile into the back straightaway. Tristan's not even going to be able to park on the yard of brick. He might work it back there. Well, that's going to do it from Indianapolis, the Flex Motorsports Everything Series. Wrapping up the stop here to Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the IR-18 machine. Ran a couple of dirt races. We were in the trucks last week, and then I think it was the 305 sprints prior to that. Started the season off at Daytona in the 87 Cup cars. Next week, they're going to go to Pro 4 trucks at Crandon for 20 laps. We talked about it early in the broadcast. This is an everything series. We're going to run everything these guys can think of under the sun. Again, it avoids having to worry about different drivers in different disciplines dominating. You got one guy say he's really good in Indy cars or really good in trucks or really good on dirt. Doesn't matter. They run a little bit of everything across the board. So the guy that performs well in the Indy car may not necessarily take to the Pro 4 trucks, or maybe the SCCA Spec Racer Ford coming up. That's going to be Watkins Glen on June 22nd. And then we go to Martinsville for the Tour Mods at 80 laps on June 29th. That's going to be a blast. Hope we can be a part of that one. And then July 6th, Dirt Street Stocks to close out the season. 60 laps at USA Speedway. Whether it's me or anybody else getting this broadcast, we hope you guys show up for it. Certainly a fun series to call. Enjoyed every bit of it. Was really looking forward to this Indy race. Apologize again, not being able to do any kind of post-race interview. Again, I have no sound in my headphones, so I can't hear anybody else. Can't have that conversation, but congratulations certainly to Tristan Sykes, Alan Duranco, Bobby Hall Jr. taking home top threes. Let's go over the official race results before we get out of here. Tristan Sykes, of course, with the win over Alan Duranco. Just over 0.2 of a second was the margin of victory. Bobby Hall Jr. was quick in the practice session. I believe he did start fourth. Didn't get the pole like we had expected, but finished his third, so one position improved for Bobby Hall Jr. The extra tire set just didn't pan out. I'd be willing to bet if this race did go green to the finish when he took that tire set, that first caution that we had on the afternoon, this may have been a different outcome for Bobby Hall Jr. He may have brought home a checkered flag, but not to be today. Didn't work out. Had a couple more cautions, then a green-white checker. Bobby just couldn't get back up there, and Tristan Sykes, a lot of pace today. Alan Duranco was quick as well. Further down the line, Wes Wiegand was fourth. Brandon Marlowe finishes in the fifth position. Jesse Redding finishes sixth. Dan Worthington, pole sitter, didn't keep it long. Turn one was gone. Kevin Blue had taken over the top spot. Unfortunately for Worthington, caught up in some other issues. Finishes seventh, 3 laps down. Chris Goins, eighth, 3 laps down. Kevin Blue, so dominant here this afternoon, led, I'd say, the better part of 3/4 of this race. Right from the drop of the green flag, had the pace. I think he got beat by tires. I'm not 100%. Maybe there was a brush of the wall at some point. Nonetheless, a 9th place finish for Kevin Blue. Justin Shiner also quick this afternoon. A finish that wasn't really indicative of his running today. Justin Shiner, 10th place, 9 laps down. Justin Holt, 11th place, 9 laps down. James Ferguson, 12th. Mike Fahey finished 13th. And Thomas Hall credited with the 14th position, but did not start the race this afternoon. So 52 laps down, 51. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies for not being able to interview our top 3. That's one of my favorite parts of the broadcast, to get the take of the drivers that finish in the top 3. It is what it is. We'll get it worked out, and hopefully this is not a continuing problem. But either way, great race. I had fun. Thank you guys for watching in the stream chat. If you haven't already done it, check us out on Facebook.com/HBRTV in the number 1. Same thing on YouTube, HBRTV1. Find us on both platforms. Turn on the notifications so, well, you get a notification whenever we go live or make a post or anything of the sort. You don't miss a minute of the action of any of the races that we cover. We've got another one coming up tomorrow, 8:45 Eastern, the LSR Cup Series. And then Saturday, we're going to be at Dover with the Dumb Thumbs Racing League, the ARCA series, catching some of their broadcasts this season, kind of filling in the blanks, but we're going to have a good majority of them going forward. So tune in for that on Saturdays. Got to double check the time, but I think it is right around that 8 to 8:40, 8 o'clock. I think we go qualifying at about 8 o'clock. So tune in around 8 p.m. on Saturdays. We'll get more detailed information going forward, but it should be a great one to watch. Once again, thank you guys all for watching, communicating in the stream chat. I mean, we had a little bit of everything. So we'll get you at the next one, guys. Have a great night.